Let's always drink the good stuff.
It's about food, art, travel, music, culture, lifestyle. It's interesting conversations with interesting people. And yes, sometimes it's even about drinking the good stuff. You're a product of Filipos School, aren't you?
Yes. So
How did you like Filipos?
I love Pilibos. Pilibos, it turned me to a good Armenian boy. I grew up in I didn't grow up with my Armenian family because all my Armenian relatives were back in Lebanon or in Armenia, so I didn't have any family local, So going to Pilibos was what really taught me my Armenian roots. And my dad put me there purposely because I was leaning towards more Mexican as a kid, I was leaning towards more Mexican, and then my dad goes one day, you're Armenian too? And I was like, "Yeah, what's that mean? What's Armenian?" And then he took me to Alex Pilibos, and then from day one, it was Armenian, everything. So now, like, I speak both languages, I know both cultures, and I identify as both of them,
And but when you started going to Filipos, did you speak any Armenian?
Zero. Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. I couldn't even say. I didn't even know my real name. That's how, like, Hagop. My real name is Hagop Mugardich, but no one ever called me that. As a kid, since I went to public school, they called me Jack. Since preschool, I remember Jack. So when I went to Pilibos in 4th grade, they're like Hagop, and I go, what? So then
Who's Hagop?
Who's Hagop? And then it became the whole thing, the church, the history. Maestro Mashto, it's all the whole history, like all the whole everything, So Pilibos really brought that out in me and taught me a lot about myself,
And definitely. And your dad, you said, is from Lebanon?
My dad's from Lebanon, yeah.
And your mom is Mexican?
From Mexico City, yeah.
And growing up, obviously you just said that you speak both Spanish and English very well. Your comedy seems to be going more towards the Armenian side.
So that's what you guys noticed recently. But I've been doing comedy for 16 years.
Okay.
So for 16 years, I was just talking. My first comedy was about my ex-wife, my kids, being a father, just all that. During COVID, I was trying to write a new hour, and I just started talking more about what was inside and was the Armenian side. And it was never been done before, that from my point of view. Or there's great comedians like Valery Berberian and all these guys. Yeah, that's great. But I'm talking about there's never been a comedian to talk the way I talk on stage about our culture. I want to be like the Sebastian Maniscalco he does with Italians. I want to do it for Armenians. Right. I want to be. I'm trying to put Armenians on the map and all that. So I've been leaning more towards that online, and it blew up online. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, who is this guy?" I think it's because I'm kind of edgy, a little like, "Oh, I'm on." Like, what did you say? Like, it's just a little different.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And do you feel that? How would you describe your style of comedy?
My style of comedy, I'm a storyteller for my material, because I have over 3 hours of material that I haven't even put out there. I have a few specials on Amazon Prime, Jack Jr. Live in Las Vegas, which I shot during COVID, and then I have 3 crowdwork specials on YouTube right now, and what those are organic improv moments when the audience interacts with me and we don't know what they're gonna say, what I'm gonna say, and it's kind of it's just all random, which I've kind of mastered. I've been doing it for so long. Anyone can just ask, "Hey, where are you from?" and just do something corny. But like if you watch my show, it's just nonstop laughs, engagement, fun, interactive. So there's different styles of comedy I have. It depends on how I'm feeling that day. Like if I want to go up there, tell a story about my ex-wife, because comedy is my therapy. Honestly, it's my therapy. When something's bothering me, I got to go to the comedy club, and I will drive to the Haha or Laugh Factory or the Improv, and I'll go talk 10, 15 minutes and get it off my chest. So I like engaging with the audience, but I also like telling my story as well. So I'm actually shooting my special at the Alex Theater in Glendale, California, May 17th.
Oh, wow.
And you're going to hear the whole story of me, as how I became a comedian, my first wife, my new wife, my kids. I got 5 kids, all the stories about being Mexican, Armenian. And I put it together, and we're shooting it May 17th at the Alex Theater. So it's my biggest show in Glendale, California. Wow. So I'm excited about that.
Wonderful. And when you're making fun of people, when you're interacting with the audience in the clubs, is there a line you don't cross?
No, I cross it. Yeah. I like ruffling some feathers. I like pushing it as far as I can because I feel like people like that. You know, people like that. But I honestly like when I tell everybody before I start the show, I said if you don't have like tough skin, if you're easily offended, this isn't the show for you. You should just leave right now. I give everyone a fair warning. This is the warning. There's no one getting canceled here. You can't cancel me. I'm not famous, So everyone kind of knows what they're going to get into. Though obviously some people get mad sometimes, but you know what? It's comedy. It's all comedy.
And do they act on them getting mad, on their madness? Have you had any kind of a violent reaction from these people?
Actually, funny you say that. One time in Thanksgiving weekend, this past in Sacramento, this Mexican, like he looked like a gang member. I don't know. He was pretty like bald. And I don't know if can I curse here on this?
Sure.
So I was saying a joke. I was just saying like jokes in general. Like, oh, that's so stupid. That's so stupid. I was like, that's dumb. That's so dumb. And then this cholo gets up, gang member goes, stop fucking calling my girl fucking stupid. I go, what? And I was like 5 minutes into the show.
Right.
I'm like, I'm not calling her stupid. And then he goes, no, I think he had a bad day. He was bothering him. He stood up, and then he goes, he's like, stop fucking calling. Fuck you, puto. Fuck you. So he started like getting really mad, and the audience was like scared, like silent. And then I go, all right, man, whatever. I said, you're gonna get kicked out. He's like, I don't give a fuck. I said what I said. And then I go, congratulations. And then I said, Jesus loves you. But he left. So there's always gonna be someone that's be mad, but nothing's ever happened seriously.
And your style of comedy, you feel like works with all different ethnic groups and audiences?
Yeah, 100%. The hardest audience probably used to be black audience, but not anymore. The hardest audience was to get. It was the Armenian audience because they're very. They get offended. They don't want to hear those words. My wife's here. Don't say that word. So they were the hardest ones, but I won them over. I get a lot of love from the culture, and yeah, man, I think it's for everybody. Like I used to work for Carnival Cruise for Norwegian Cruise Line, and you work on a cruise, it's everybody. It's one big buffet of people. So I was the number one. I was the top 10 comedian on the Carnival cruise ship. Which they gave me a great opportunity. They let me go up there and did some amazing work on those ships, and it's a fun time. Yeah.
And your parents own the Haha Club in North Hollywood, right?
Yeah, since '88.
They still own it?
They still own it.
Oh, wow, okay. And how did that help you in honing your skills?
I just kind of felt like I was a fly in the room. I was in the bag as a kid, and you saw so many people fail. And you learn from failure. You see these guys on this, doing that, this, bad, this, that. Don't talk about this. I just kind of was like a fly in the room, and I kind of absorbed it without wanting to be a comedian. I didn't want to be a comedian. Only reason why I became a comedian, like at 19 years old, I moved out of the house. I had a girlfriend who had a kid at the time, and my dad goes, "You want to be a father and raise someone's kid? You need to get out of the house and be a man." So I said, "Okay." I left the house. And then I went to college part-time, and then I was working in the mall, selling cell phones in the mall, T-Mobile. I worked for T-Mobile. And right away, I figured out I was a very good salesman. And I think that might be coming from being Mexican and Armenian. I'm trilingual. I'm in the mall. I'm in sales. I speak Spanish and Armenian in Glendale. It was killer.
Yes.
I was the best. I became like number 5 in California for sales. I moved up all the way to regional sales director for T-Mobile, and I was making like over $100,000 a year at like 21 years old, right? Cut to, I used that money, and then I opened up my own cell phone store, an accessory cart. I did that. I got married. I met a girl at a saddle ranch in City Walk, and we just hooked up, and then she got pregnant and married her. And then I didn't want to marry her. My mom made me marry her. He goes, "You need to marry her." I go, "I don't want to. I'm having fun." Long story short, we got divorced like 9 months later, and she did a really good number on me. Got an attorney. I went child support, spousal support. I got to pay for her attorney. Now I lose my business. I'm drinking. I'm partying. I'm depressed. And then I'm thinking very dark thoughts, and I finally go to my father. I go, "I need your help. I don't like how I'm feeling right now. I'm thinking dark thoughts. I need therapy." And then my dad right away, Armenian, "You know how expensive therapy is?" He goes, "Come to the club, go on stage." So that's what happened. I started doing stand-up comedy.
So that was later in
That was it.
early
Yeah.
on 20.
25 years old. I was
So until then, you had not done any comedy.
nothing. Never.
But but when you were growing up, were you a funny kid?
Oh yeah, I was always
You were the jokester.
I was always a jokester. I was getting in trouble in school. Yeah.
And school, were you always the funny kid who was telling the stories to the teacher, to the friends, and so on?
Yeah, oh, yeah. I was always the silly guy. I would always use my personality to get girls or whatever. You know, I'd just be silly. You know, that's what I was. You know.
But were you a good student?
I was. It's not fair in my situation because I went to Pilibos and I didn't speak the language. You know, so I wasted a lot of my time trying to learn the language and do other stuff. It was impossible. So I was like failing. I was failing. I'm failing Armenian history, Armenian religion. I'm failing Armenian. The classes are in Armenian. I'm failing. You know, so I don't speak the language. So I feel like I never gave myself a fair shot. But when I went into high school, I went to a public school. I was a pretty good student, you know, because I left Pilibos and I was so disciplined with school. So when I finally went to a public school and it was like normal and it was just like biology, science, I had like a 3.5 GPA, and I was an athlete. I was a scholar athlete. So I had a very good high school. I did good in high school, but I didn't go to college because I do this joke on stage. I took the SATs, and then when I said Pilibos didn't prepare me for the SATs, I said, where the hell is Varton Mamigonyan? Like
It wasn't on the test.
Yeah, whatever I learned in Pilibos wasn't on the SATs. You know.
But so at the age of 25, you realize that you're starting to do comedy. You realize that you can do this. You're funny.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what's next?
It's called the comedy bug. I quit T-Mobile. I wasn't working T-Mobile no more, and I needed to find a way where I could do comedy at night and make money and survive on my own. Because I'm already 25. I don't want to move back at home. My baby mama lives in Modesto, like Sacramento, California. So it was just me on my own. So I need to find a way to hustle and do comedy. So I became a strip club DJ.
Okay.
I became a strip club DJ because my friend was a DJ. And I didn't know I had that talent, but I was good on the microphone already, and I was like, yeah, that's right, guys, in the main stage, oh hell yeah, you know, I was like doing that, and I did that for a while, and I was making a lot of money, dude. I was making a lot of money, and I had enough money to live on my own and do comedy, and I just started doing comedy more, practice every day. I would get up, open mics, bar shows, coffee shows, anywhere, and I would just go up there and pretty much bomb like every night. Just failure, just to kind of find my voice. And then I kept at it. And then eventually I started opening up for people like, I opened up for like the Wayans brothers, like celebrities like that, Craig Robinson, David Spade, all these guys that are so talented. But I also worked under the other headliners that kind of took me under their wing and put me up on stage, like Jeff Garcia, Adam Hunter, so many talented comedians that I just kind of like basically I'll say, hey man, you want to come on the road with me? You be my opener, and I go, sure. You help them sell merch. You do like 10 minutes. They give you $100, and it's not much money, but you're learning. You know, experience, and experiences you can't get that anywhere else. So I just kept hustling, and then I quit my job. I quit DJing, and then I started making money doing stand up, and then the rest is history. Right now I'm pretty well. I just bought my second home. You know, like I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful for everything I have. And the thing is, the problem I have right now, I'm never satisfied. If I told myself right now, like, hey man, you're gonna be traveling all over the world. You're not gonna have a job. You're gonna work for 1 hour a day, and you're gonna go to Europe. You're gonna go to Dubai. You're gonna go here. You're gonna perform there in Vegas, Mandalay Bay. You're gonna do all this, and you're not gonna be happy. I'd be like, you're crazy. Like, that's what's happening right now. I want more. I want more for my kids. Right now, I'm building a future for my little ones, you know. So I'm the hustle never stops. And I feel like it's never going to stop because friends like Gabriel Iglesias, which I open for right now, I'm going to open for him in Las Vegas this New Year's Eve weekend. Joe Coy, all these guys, they're in their 50s right now, and they're still touring, and they're crushing it. Paul Rodriguez is like in his 80s, I think, right? And he's still performing. Andrew Dice Clay, all these guys. So I feel like as a comedian, we're never gonna be happy.
Well, Don Rickles was working until it was in the late
Don
90s.
Rickles, yeah,
90s.
That's what I'm saying. So I just feel like, why? I just feel like it's always gonna be a constant grind. I started writing scripts. I'm trying to sell TV shows. I'm trying to get behind the camera, podcast, everything. It's a constant grind.
Well, it is. As you're an entrepreneur. Even though you say you're performing 1 hour a day.
Yeah.
But how much time are you putting into preparing that?
100%. Yeah.
You know, I mean, how much time do you put in writing, and what percent of your shows pre-written, and what part is ad lib?
So lately, it's been all ad lib, I do write. I write well when something bad happens and when there's pain. Like, right, I wrote, like, when my son was born 2 months premature 6 months ago, I wrote like a whole new 15, 20 minutes. I don't know why. I just feel like I have a lot to think about, and then stuff comes out. When I fight with my wife, something happens, I write, you know? But a lot of the stuff I do right now is, which people are enjoying, are the clips I post on Instagram, on YouTube, are the crowd work moments, because you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what you're gonna say. It's just so. Oh my God, that was so funny, you know. So yeah, like or just stuff like that happened. Like I was telling, I posted a joke the other day. I was in New York and I got a Uber, and the guy goes, "Hey, are you Armenian?" And I went, "Oh, are you a fan?" And he goes, "Fan? Air conditioning?" I go, No. I go, "What?" He goes, "Your last name, Asadurian." And I go, "Oh, yeah, I'm Armenian." He goes, "I'm Turkish." And I said,
Okay.
I like paused. I was like, what? And then I go, I literally typed in the address on my phone just in case he was taking me to the same place we're supposed to go. You know,
Right.
like I was like, and then I was like, "Hey man, are we cool?" Yeah, and then just like stuff like that, that really happened, you know. Or like, also in New York, I wanted some baklava and Armenian coffee, right? So I went into, I saw people drinking the Armenian coffee, the little one.
Oh, okay.
I walked in, I'm like, "Can I get one of those?" And then one of those, and I'll take one, thank you. And then as I'm paying, I go, "You're so pretty." I go, "You have a beautiful accent. Where are you from?" She goes, "I'm Turkish. This is my store." And I
Oh.
said, "I cannot support this." And I left. But it's just funny because that's what
Yeah.
we're taught as a kid, you know? Like, you know, we're a kid.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
That's
know
ingrained in us.
I know Turkish people, then they love me. They're fans of me, you know. There's Armenians that are Turkish. They're in there, you know. But as a kid, we're just taught like, hey, we don't, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's funny to you?
Funny? What do you mean?
Can any moment be funny? Can you just describe a couple of situations?
Yeah.
Can any moment be funny, or can you draw funniness, if that's the right word,
Yeah.
out of situations which are serious?
100%. Anything can be funny. Anything. I'm talking about. We've been at a funeral, you know, and like our friend passed away, and this was actually recently. My friend just recently passed away. My friend Kabir Singh, and we all pulled up to the funeral, and then I was like, you know what's crazy? Because he had a really bad gambling problem. Like, what if Kabir faked his death to get out of it? Because he missed the parlay this weekend, and everyone started laughing. But you're always gonna find something. You can find funny in any situation. You just have to believe in it. You know, you have to really believe it. As an entertainer, as a performer, like there's people that go, like, let's just say you tell a joke, right? You go, "Oh yeah, you're fat," and I'm just kidding. You don't believe in it, so no one's laughing.
Right.
But hey, man, you're fucking fat. And people laugh. It's just
Right.
It's how you deliver. It's about believing it. So I think anything could be funny. You know, anything could be funny.
And by the same token, though, when you are in situations, or regularly, when people meet you, do they expect you to be funny
Yeah.
all the time?
But the thing is, so like when I meet people,
You have to be on all the time?
I'm always on. And it's funny because when I'm not on, like when I'm just like watching TV or I'm home, my kids, people go, "What's wrong?" They go, "What's wrong?" But I'm always on. Even with like my in-laws, my mom, my sister the other day, I went to her house for her birthday. I showed up And then her neighbors are there, and then I just start making fun of her neighbors. I just start making fun of them. Oh, you guys are white, just like
Right.
And then my sister goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, my brother's a comedian. Sorry if you guys feel offended." And he goes, "No, he's great." Bro. So like my sister has to apologize. People, "Oh, this is my cousin. This is my brother. He's a comedian." Oh, like
Right.
Yeah.
But when you are, you only do your shows in English, right? Do you do any shows in Spanish or Armenian?
So when there's a lot of Armenians in there, I incorporate some Armenian words and phrases, and I'll ask questions. Like I'll ask some questions in Armenian, but it's 90% in Armenian. I can do it in Spanish. I've tried, but I haven't done a full on show. Yeah, I feel like I'm more comfortable speaking Spanish than Armenian.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I just feel like when I talk, I feel like I have like an accent, or
Or your vocabulary is not there, maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I understand everything, and then with Armenians is like there's so many different dialects. Like I'm talking to this guy, and he's like, "What the hell? What does that mean?" Like Zukaran. I'm like, "What?" Like
Right.
So that I feel like I get insecure sometimes when I have a conversation in Armenian, but I understand. And then in Spanish, I feel like I know it better because I feel it's more universal too.
Your
And-
mother tongue.
Yeah, that, and then and everyone goes, "Why do you speak better Spanish?" This is a joke I do on stage. Like, why do you speak more Spanish than Armenian? I said, because in high school, the Latin girls were having sex. The Armenian girls weren't.
Right.
She's like, "Marry me." I'm like, "This is fucking recess."
Jerry Seinfeld talks about the fact that he stopped going on college campuses because of wokeness, because he could not cover topics. People were getting angry.
Yeah.
Do you shy away from certain topics?
No, I
Or
talk
politics.
About I mean, I don't go at it, but if it comes up, I engage. I talk about everything.
And
That's what's actually hurt me too recently with my social media, because no one was talking about the Artsakh war, and I was being very vocal about it on my page. And till this day, my social media numbers have gone down because I have these bots that are.
Right.
I can't want to say it because I don't want to ruin the video. I have to block certain flags off my page because of they like report my page.
by the way, that happens with a lot of Armenian-centric pages.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen before.
Yeah,
Also,
I used to get
unfortunately.
millions of views on my videos. Now I'm getting under 100,000. People literally have to go search for me. That's why I moved over to YouTube. My YouTube is I never really posted on YouTube, but my YouTube is I'm putting longer sets, longer videos, and it's been thriving. It's been doing good.
And well, that's a good. What has been the role of social media in terms of your rise in the comedy?
So I'm very old school. I'm as a stand-up, I looked up to like the great ones, and so like back then you would save your material for Netflix, Hulu, HBO, Comedy Central, the whole thing, right? So I would hold on to my material, waiting for my big break, my special. Right now I have 2 specials that I can do, 2 different hours, right? I can even do a third one with just being Armenian material, right? Hold on one second. I could do 3 specials right now if I really wanted to. And the reason why I never dropped these specials was because I was waiting for that big break. Hey, I got a special. We like you. We want to put you on the Tonight Show and this and that and that. I said, all right. But that's different now. It's all social media.
Right.
Everyone wants to see everyone on social media. So that's why on social media, I figured a way I can take advantage of the situation was I wouldn't post my material on social media. I will post crowd work moments, stuff that happens organically on stage. So those are the videos that have gone viral.
To tease the people,
To
for them
tease
to go
them,
and look for you up.
Exactly.
And are you seeing that transition? Are you seeing that shift where people watching your shorts and then going into watching the longer versions?
100%. I'm seeing that right now. People want to see longer versions right now.
And you're seeing from your numbers that people are watching all the way through?
Yeah, on my YouTube videos, I just dropped 3 specials. The first one I dropped, people were watching the first 25 minutes. It was an hour and a half long. Only the first 25, like average 25 minutes. And then the second one, it was almost all the way through, and the third one all the way through.
And has social media been a good source for money or profit for you?
I mean, Instagram, back then they were paying not a lot of money, but it was just like it was pocket money, you know, like
Right.
you know, it was money's always good, but what's really been great is the ticket sales. I've been traveling a lot, doing a lot of shows, and honestly, I've been trying to get to different markets. The good thing about my career right now is that I'm selling out in all the major cities: New York, Chicago, L.A., Vegas. You know, the smaller cities I haven't really done well numbers. Like Albany, New York, Albany. I mean, it's a big city, but you know,
Right.
but it's I mean, like out of the 300, I think I sold like 75 tickets. You know, so it's like
And these are
slowly growing.
And these are people who are coming because they're Armenian or because
It's mixed.
Mixed.
Yeah, because like I said, I already had a nice following of a variety of people: white, black, brown, Asian. You know, and then the Armenians are ones that kind of took it to the next level, pushing me. Plus, a lot of Armenians on the East Coast and the everywhere, they're not even there's a lot of Armenians that aren't married to Armenians. you know?
Correct.
So it's becoming like, oh my God, he's mixed like us. So that's what's been cool, you know. But I've had a huge support from the Armenian community all over the churches, and I love them. I think during the Artsakh, that whole thing, I did like so many fundraisers where I think we raised over like $100,000, you know.
Wow, okay.
For you know, and I donate money out of myself. Like, you know, I do all these appearances, and I'm very tied in with the Armenian schools. Like, I'm doing a show in New Jersey, April 5th at Hovnanian Armenian School.
In New Jersey.
Yeah, that school only has like 5 Armenian kids per class.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like they're keeping it together. I went over there last year. I made fun of them. I said, "Why do you guys have a gym? You guys can't play nobody." But I've been very involved with the whole community with Armenian artists. I did the Armenian Kings of Comedy with Vaya Berberian, Antic, and Kev Orkian. We did that. I'm just been.
How many shows was that?
We did 3 shows, I believe. It was 3 shows. 1 at the Alex Theater and then 2 at the AGBU.
Okay.
AGBU has been great. Hominid Man, all of the organizations, Vartavar, all the Hike for Our Heroes, all of them. I'm very involved with the community right now, and I just feel like, after, and people go, why are you leaning more towards Armenian? I think after the whole thing with the war and all the massacres and all that, I felt like it was like something inside me came out that I need to speak up and let people know what's going on in the world, you know. And then I just didn't feel like it was right for me to like just continue as an Armenian to be silent.
Right.
So like I went in, I was very vocal about it, and I'm out in these events, you know, explaining to non-Armenians and everyone about the whole thing. The Latin community is very supportive, and I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, you know.
And have you done shows in Europe or in the Middle East or
Yeah.
anywhere else?
I did shows in Paris, London, and Dubai,
Okay. And I'm sure they were very well
and
received.
Cabo San Lucas and Cancun,
Right.
all that. Yeah.
Have you done any shows in Armenia?
No, but the good news is, I guess I can announce it. It's not confirmed on paper yet, but the goal is I'm going to Armenia in August to do a show.
And do you have any mixed feelings about it, or what are your feelings about it?
I'm excited. I've never been to Armenia.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I've never been. I'm excited because actually the Armenian government asked me to go to Armenia to
That's
go.
cool.
They reached out to me and a couple other influencers, and they said, come to Armenia, put on, make social media, show everybody tourism, this, that. And that wasn't a phone call. That's how I read the email.
We have our voice.
Yeah,
now.
I heard the voice in my
Right.
head, come. So I decided to go, and I told her, let's go. And then I go, how much money are you guys going to pay us? He wrote, no money. I go, no money. I go, I can't leave my wife and kids, 5
Right.
kids for 2 weeks, no money. And then I said, I'm gonna think about it. And then like a month later, they wrote, Snoop Dogg goes to Armenia for $6 million.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I wanted $2,000.
Right.
You know? But I decided to put it on myself. I'm going to fund the whole thing. I'm going to 4-wall the event. I'm going to pay the venue out of my own pocket.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to bet on myself, and I'm going to go to Armenia and do a big show.
And it could be a special on.
It could be a special, live from Armenia, you know?
Absolutely.
I think it'd be
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah. And How many days out of the month you're traveling?
Oh my gosh. Last year I did, the year before I did 52 cities. This year, 2024, I did like 40, 42. Next year, I'm going to cut it down to like, I think under 30, maybe 30 cities only. But I travel almost every weekend.
Okay. And you think that takes a toll on your family?
Big time. Sometimes I go to these cities and I take my family with me and I'm losing. I'm performing in Hawaii, January 6th, 2025. I'm taking my wife, my kids. I'm coming back broke 10 grand.
Right.
Yeah, I'm losing big time, you know?
Right.
But I do it because I got to, you know, I have to. I took my family to Rhode Island, New York, New Jersey, Boston. I took them for that whole gone for 2 weeks, and then I lost then too. Sure. So it's like, but it's okay, you know. Right. It's gonna happen.
It's a good experience.
It's a good experience, yeah.
And they feel like they're part of the
100%,
process.
yeah.
Are there certain comedians you look up to?
Yeah, man. I have a lot of love for right now. Joe Coy, Gabriel Iglesias. Joe Coy is an amazing father, and I love how he brings his son with him everywhere. And he's been doing that since he was a baby. I remember
he's Filipino, right?
Yeah.
There was big controversy about him in one of the shows he did.
He did?
There was big controversy about wasn't he was hosting the Oscars or something that he had some issues with?
No, I don't know. Oh, the Golden Globes.
Golden Globe, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was just that was just I don't know. It was kind of like how I felt last night at the Pilibos fundraiser.
You were there last night, yeah.
I performed last night, and it's sometimes it's not you. It's the crowd just isn't ready for a comedy show or this, that, you know? And the comedian always takes the blame, you know? It could be all it all, for a comedy show, like, the audience needs to know it's a comedy show, one, and the lighting needs to be good, the stage, this, that, and also, like, those award shows, no host ever does good. I don't think so, you know? It's always like, When have you heard someone go, hey, that guy was great? It's always it's always the worst, you know?
Correct. Yeah.
So I just think award shows are just. I mean, I would do it. Obviously, it's great. There's no such thing as bad press.
Right.
But I just don't think it's you don't need a comedian for that, you know? They're gonna judge you right away for anything you say, you know?
And but who are some of the other people that you look up to? Like
So Gabriel Iglesias, I love Gabriel Iglesias. You know why? Because he stayed loyal to his friends for a very long time, and he would bring up his close friends, kind of like Adam Sandler did within his movies. And I like that about him. It's just a lot of loyalty, respect, and love, and that's something very rare in this business. Gabriel is right now taking people on the road now that are the next coming up. I've got to open up for Gabriel. And
you have?
Yeah, and I open up.
He's really
huge. I open up for 18,000 people in Sacramento at the King Stadium. You know, I opened up for him at the Pechanga Stadium in San Diego, and now I'm gonna do I did the Chelsea Comedy Club in the Cosmo early this year, and I'm doing it again this year. And I remember the first thing he told me is like, hey, don't run the light, which means don't go over your time.
Oh, okay.
And I said, so I jumped off a minute early, but I remember the third time. Like by the fourth time I did the show with him, he was just like, wow, it was good. You know, it was like he's very supportive, very great, and he's someone I always want to like. I can't wait for a compliment from him because like I respect him so much. He's great. The Wayans family, the Marlon Wayans, Damon, Keenan, Sean, Damon Jr., Craig Wayans, that whole family is. I love how they are. They're so talented. They give each other work, and they're very close, and that's something I really admire. That's what I want. Because sometimes this business feels very lonely, man. I travel all over the world. You help people, move them up, and then they forget about you. You know, right now sometimes I just feel like you don't have a friend. You know, you're working so much.
Yeah.
You grow apart. Success brings you apart from everybody, and then you feel very lonely. You know, it's a very lonely business. You travel alone. You're in a hotel alone. You eat alone. You're backstage alone. You're in your green room that you're alone, and then that's people turn to drugs and alcohol. It's really It's a really really hard business. You know.
Having said that, though, would you recommend someone if someone wants to be a comedian, would you encourage them?
I would ask them, "What's wrong with you?" Because honestly, we're all messed up. You know, it's crazy. We're all pretty.
And you're
messed
dealing with that.
You're dealing with it your whole life. You know.
In your comedy, that is.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I started doing comedy was because my ex-wife did a number on me. She took my kid away. I was divorced. I was going through a lot. I was drinking. I was on drugs. I was like a lot of stuff, and then just like it's like therapy. It's literally therapy. You're literally putting your problems out there for everyone to hear.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, think about this. We go into every night.
And you have to be honest with people, right?
Honest, and we go into every city every night into a room where everyone goes, and we're like, please like me. We're asking for approval every single night. Right. So think about how messed up that is. You know, we want your approval. I want you to like me. I want you to like me. Check this out. When you're performing and the whole audience, 600 people are laughing, but one person says something, who do we address? The one person.
Right.
We don't ignore that one person. We attack that one person. Hey, man, what's wrong? Why don't you like me? Why aren't you having a good time? We could ignore them, but us as comedians, especially me, I attack that person. I go, hey, man, why are your arms crossed? Why are you yawning? Why? But it's because we want everyone's approval, you know?
And then one person's bothering. The fact that he's not happy, he's not laughing, is bothering you.
Yeah, it's like a cancer. You know, like why is he mad?
You got to take care of that.
I got to take care of this first before I can go into this, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, years ago, the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson was a gold standard for comedians to be on there. If you got on Johnny Carson, you would made it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's a whole different environment.
It's the Joe Rogan experience.
Right. It's a whole different environment. There's so many different outlets out there for comedians to showcase themselves, their talents, whether it's TV, on specials, this and that. Does that make it more difficult or easier for a comedian to rise up and get to be known, become famous, and make it, so to speak?
I mean, it's I feel like it's a lot easier to get popular.
Now.
Like the Haktua girl. She went viral in one day, you know?
Right.
A lot of these comics right now are doing Kill Tony.
Right.
Kill Tony on Tony Hinchcliffe. I've known Tony for a long time.
Have you been on that show?
No, that's the thing. I don't. It's so what the show is that basically it's a great platform. It's awesome.
Right.
But they're basically like featuring very new comedians, maybe under like 5 years in. They go do 2 minutes and they become famous overnight.
Right.
Now they're famous. Now they go do a show and then they need to come up with an hour. You know, so there's a lot. It's like hitting a lottery ticket. You know, it's great. I remember when the show was in LA, but now it's in Austin, and it's he's really, it's like the new America's Got Talent. Like he's really blowing people up.
He has a panel of comedians.
He has a panel, very supportive, and it's been great. You know, it's good. It's good for the culture. It's different. Comedy's evolving. Comedy's changing. You know, people are just doing different things for laughs now, for views, and it's entertaining. You know,
and I'm sure you watched the Comedy Central roasts.
Yeah,
and they've become really, really big recently.
Yeah, 100%.
And the last one,
I was there.
Oh, were you?
I was at the Tom Brady one.
Yes.
Yeah, I was there.
And what do you think about that level, that kind of roasting, where you don't know how much you need to go in, but you're almost hurting them in a way?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair game. It's a roast. But one thing I would want them to do, though, I would want the writers to be on stage. Because there's a lot of good writers out there, and then no one even knows they wrote on the show. The people performing are take credit for it, which I get it. They're celebrities, but I wish they would acknowledge the writers more. Because honestly, it's a very people are, oh my God, that was such a good joke. He said this, she said that. I'm like, he didn't. He was reading a prompter, you know,
Right.
like, you know. But because I just I just feel like they give the writers more credit, you know.
Do you think something of that nature would work in LA within the Armenian community?
Yes and no. I just feel like Armenians get really pissed off. Yeah, I remember I did a show the other day, and then it was for a fundraiser for a Pasadena organization, and before I go up there, he goes, "Do not make fun of table 2." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Do not make fun of table 2." I go, "What did I do?" I made fun of table 2. I go, "Why would you tell me that?" Mm-hmm. But they had a good time. It was they were I guess they were Armenian fighters or something.
I see.
But I was like,
do you know of a lot of Armenians who are comedians, quote unquote? in LA or on the East Coast
Yeah, I mean, I know. There's a bunch of them. You know,
who are up and coming?
there's a bunch of comedians right now. There's Mary Basmadjian, Lori Tatulian. Actually, Lori Tatulian is very, very, very talented. Lori Tatulian is she has a one she has like a she does plays and she works for Groundlings and she's a teacher at Groundlings. You know Lori Tatulian?
Yeah.
Very funny. Antic, he's a social media guy. Does very funny videos. He's a stand up as well. And Antic does comedy in Armenian too.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do. You know. Vai Berberian, Kevorkian.
But these guys are a little bit more established.
Yeah.
I'm talking about people who
Up and coming.
Yeah, up and coming ones.
I mean, I would think they would. Yeah, I don't know. Who else?
I mean, Vahe Berberian has been doing that forever now.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
great.
Vahe is- yeah.
Kevorkian, same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
And do you think a show in the style of Kill Tony will work also at a smaller scale, which will eventually can become big in LA, partly with Armenians, not Armenians, what have you?
I mean, a lot of people have tried to duplicate Kill Tony, and it takes it's hard. I don't think there's enough of us. You know, Armenians are. I can tell you, Armenians are very, very hard to win over. Sometimes they get so offended. You know.
Well,
But,
that's yeah.
I would like to see it, but you never. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
Any projects you're working on, whether it's on the for YouTube, for TV, for specials?
I have a crowd work special I just dropped. I'm dropping another one next month, I believe. How
long is
when
that?
is this coming out? When is this video coming out?
Next week,
Oh, next week. I will. When next week?
whenever it's ready. Next week.
Well, my biggest project is I'm shooting my special at Alex Theater May 17th.
Okay.
That's my biggest one. It's gonna be epic. I'm so pumped up about it. But if this comes next week, I'm gonna be headlining the Mandalay Bay in Vegas,
Oh, that's excellent.
December 30th. December
Cool.
30th, Mandalay Bay, House of Blues.
Okay.
Jack Asadurian Jr. is on the strip right now.
The whole building, huh? Took the
Yeah.
whole building.
It's amazing. The whole building, us. So that's pretty.
That's awesome.
Pretty amazing to have it to perform that kind of level. You know, I think it's like 1,500 people. So
Wow. And how long is that show?
how long is the show? It's an hour and a half.
Your
Yeah.
show.
My show, yeah.
You know, I've read that Chris Rock does about 200 shows in small clubs in New Jersey, New York, in preparation for the big specials that he
Yeah.
puts on. Is that what you do too? Honing special segments, special lines, special points
Yeah.
to see if it's working, if it's not working.
Yeah, I do. I do shows regularly. I call it like going to the gym. I do shows at the Brandy in Glendale, the Brandy, and then the Eden in Pasadena, Haha Comedy Club. I'll do spots all over LA and all the Ice House, Laugh Factory, Improv.
And you're
Comedy
testing
Store.
to see if this line is working. How
Yeah.
can I change the
I'll
word
just-
here, change the
I'll
word
literally,
there?
I'll literally have like notes on my phone, and I literally go on stage and I'll just start reading. Yeah, like I wrote this old joke. I'll give you an example. I wrote, "Dear Mexicans, if you Airbnb your house, you need to leave." So that's like, like
Yeah.
I said, yeah. So, yeah, I wrote this the other day. I was in the doctor, and then they gave me my blood results, and he said, I'm borderline diabetic. I'm borderline gout. Like I'm border everything. And I said, that's the most Mexican thing about me, borders. But that's what I do. I write stuff down, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I move on.
They just move on. But you constantly have to test it.
Yeah, like when my son was born 2 months premature, I said I wanted that same day I performed at Ferrarian for a fundraiser for them. When he was born 2 months premature. I wanted to cancel the show. My wife goes, "Go to the show. There's nothing you can do here. Just go." So I went to the show. The first thing I said, "My son was born 2 months premature. We both came quick." So I'm just saying, like, I just always write material, always try stuff out.
Yeah. And
The hardest part is putting it together.
you just have to, because always a transition from one thought to the
one
other.
day, yeah. So it's like right now, it's like my special. I'm talking about my first marriage, and talking about my kids when they're little, and then now my son is 15 now, but I was talking about when he was like 2.
Right.
You know?
And is that a skill that you develop over time when you have transition from one thought to the other? And I find it that a lot of comedians who talk about a certain topic at some point during their set somehow are able to connect it back towards the end.
Yeah, it's called a callback.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And I find it takes a lot of skill and a lot of
Yeah.
experience for
Yeah,
people
yeah.
to be able to link it whole together.
100%. Or just saying one word in the beginning and then and then at the end.
Right.
Like, yeah, I do that all the time. I love that. You know what I do too? I'm very good at remembering people's first and last names and their jobs and what they do. And then throughout the show, hey, you remember Mike? And I'm like, go back to this. I go, hey, remember? And then it just, yeah, that's a talent. People can't just do that. You know, that takes
Remembering names is talent.
That takes time to master, basically. You know.
Jerry Seinfeld talks about the fact that it took one of his jokes 10 years to write that joke. He was constantly refining it, constantly bringing it up. Are there certain thoughts, certain jokes that you think there's something funny here, but it takes you a while to get to develop it to a point where it's really, really funny?
So what he meant by that was like my first 10 years in, it took me 10 years to find out how I'm going to talk on stage. You know, so I don't know if he meant like that because it's like it's so hard. Like you can say one sentence, you know, like any sentence, right? And you can say it a million different ways. Comedy isn't just about the written part. It's about the delivery, the timing, the pausing, the talking louder, lower, you know, just kind of like you're performing, you know? So I think that's what takes a long time to get that down, you know? I don't think per se it's the actual joke. It's about how you say it, how you say the joke. So I think that's what he meant. But that's how I feel like the stuff I've done in the beginning of my, like the first joke I ever wrote was I'm half Armenian, half Mexican. I'll sell you a cell phone, but I'll steal it right afterwards. You know, that was my first joke I wrote. Okay. And then I said I'm half Armenian, half Mexican because I thought I was going to be a one-liner comic. That's what I thought I was going to be.
Right.
So I would say stuff like that. So I'm half Armenian, half Mexican. I sell oranges out of my Mercedes. You know, I was talking like that, but then I'm like, that's not my style. I don't talk like that regularly. Now when I perform, it's the same way we're talking right now. I'm talking like myself.
You found your voice.
It's more authentic. It's more real. I'm the same guy on stage, off stage, same person, you know?
And you have to be, right? Because audiences pick up on that.
100%.
If you're not being true to yourself.
Not being genuine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They pick up on that. And
they show you smell fear.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't want that. What happens, though, when, again, how do you deal with hecklers?
Every day. I love hecklers.
Is it because it's an opportunity for you to...
No matter what a heckler does, they just want to be part. They want to be part of the show. Something's bothering them. They're insecure. They had a bad day. They think they're funny. They're not funny. I'm gonna get them. I made a heckler cry one time. I go, you wanted to do this? You know, they're always gonna lose. You have a microphone. They have no microphone. They're shouting. You're talking normal. You know.
And when you come up with a funny concept, a funny line, is there someone you discuss it with, or is it just you and the next time you're with an audience?
I used to discuss it with other comedians, but then comedians steal jokes, so I just kind of just do it myself. Yeah, because there's an unwritten rule, like people steal jokes all the time, you know.
Another unwritten rule, I saw this in a movie, that you're not supposed to buy jokes from other people.
Yeah, I don't know. I would never buy. I hate it when people come up to me, especially if people come up to me, hey man, I use this, try this. I go, no. It's not me. It's not, right. I can't regurgitate something. Those are your thoughts. You know, it's your timing, your head. I can't do that, you know? So, yeah.
But then how do other comedians who are on television, who have a bunch of writers who are writing for them, how do they manage that? How do they overcome that?
They write in his voice.
In his voice.
They write like in his voice. You know, they write, how would he sound? Like Mitch Hedberg was one of my favorite comedians. You know, rest in peace, Mitch Hedberg. You know Mitch Hedberg? He's a one-liner comic, very funny. He, if you look him up, he's very, very, very funny. But his style of talking was like this. So I wrote a joke in his voice. I wrote, people always say time is money, but I have all the time in the world and no money. That's how he talked, you know? So that's how you do it, you know?
And do you write for other people?
I do not write for other people. But maybe I do because the people take jokes and then I don't know about it.
Right.
Yeah.
But not officially.
Not officially.
Not officially. And,
You might have heard my jokes out there for sure.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's nowadays everything's everywhere, so
Yeah.
you cannot help it.
Yeah.
You cannot help it.
You know what's funny? I actually got accused of taking one of my jokes. Someone commented on one of my videos. I did a joke of mine that I did 12 years ago, right? And on YouTube, I'm skinnier, I have short hair, I'm a different person, right? Someone commented, goes, "Hey man, stop stealing jokes. I know this guy's joke word for word." I go, "Stupid, that's me." I was just skinnier.
But you have no control over what people are going to do with your material, right?
No.
You just have to deal with it. As long as it's yours, you know it's yours. You're
Yeah.
proud of you created that, and
Yeah.
you just have to accept it.
Yeah, as long as you like talk more about, people can't steal your identity. So if I talk about my kids, my wife's Filipino, Portuguese, my kids are this, blah, 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 blah. The more details you give, the less people are going to steal your material. Because like if you talk about traffic or bicycles and coffee, anyone's going to take that joke. You do a Spirit Airlines joke,
Right.
I do a Spirit Airlines. I have a Spirit. Everyone has a Spirit Airlines joke,
Right.
And everyone just kind of steals it.
You said you have a special coming up in April or May?
May 17th,
May 17th.
Alex Theater.
Is that going to be just you solo?
It's me solo, but I will have special guest appearances. I can't say who, but they're pretty famous.
And as a comedian, do you put pressure on yourself, or the people put pressure on you to always coming up with new materials, new
I
lines?
put pressure on myself over and over.
And you need to do that, right? To survive.
Not to survive. I'm in competition with myself. Every morning I wake up, I post a new video, I edit a video. I'm always, you know how many times I've edited a video and I go, "That's not funny." I don't think it's funny. People are like, "Oh yeah, that's so funny." I'm like, "I don't think it's funny." I'll take it down. So
And you're doing your own editing at this point?
So I have four camera guys and 2 editors, and they edit it, and then I edit it. So it's a long process.
It is a long process.
Yeah, it's a long time. People think I just post videos like, "Oh, it's so easy." Like, no, man. I write it, I perform it, I master it, I edit it, and then I post it. And sometimes the views are, I'm like, "Oh my god, I only got 1,000 views." I'm like, "What the hell?" I just fucking, I spend like, basically every video I post costs me between $50 and $100.
Right.
That's like I think of it as. So I need people to watch it. I need people to share my videos, like it, and comment. That's the main
And
thing.
everything, all the shows you do on the East Coast here and there, is everything recorded?
I take a camera guy everywhere. Yeah, yeah. What I'm gonna start doing is recording all the time.
Right.
I want to start just
So you never know when you're
never
going to
know.
be able to use any part of it.
like not even like off stage too. Like I want to have conversations with people. I want to record stuff because
Right.
Stuff always happens that's funny. And I think people want to see it, not just on stage. People want to see with behind the scenes Jack Jr. You don't want to
I think that's a lot of people. A lot of times that's very interesting as well.
Yeah, like me in a casino, like I'm hilarious. I'm walking around, I'm making fun of people. Like, look at this guy,
Right.
It's funny. I think people really enjoy that.
Absolutely. I think it just humanizes the person also. It's not just the persona on
Yeah.
stage, but in his everyday.
Yeah, like a real reality show, and then
Right.
and I'll just edit it to the funny moments,
And that could be a separate programming by itself.
Yeah, yeah,
You never know.
yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, listen, thank you very much for coming in. I really, really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Great to meet you.
Pleasure, bro.
You're a funny guy.
Thank you.
You know that line from the movie?
You're a funny guy.
You're a funny guy.
You're a funny guy.
You're a funny guy. Yeah.
Good fellas.
Good fellas, exactly. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
And we'll do this again. I appreciate it. And remember, always drink the good stuff. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.